Today I'm going to talk about temptation. And what is temptation? Temptation is a desire that can entice you to sin. Speaking of desires, your body's going to have all kinds of desires and appetites that you can't stop from coming to the surface. Now, not all of these desires are sinful, but some can become sin if taken too far. For example, it's not a sin to be hungry. This is a natural, important desire, but there's potential to sin if you overindulge. Also, it's not evil to have an attraction to someone, but it's what you do with that attraction internally that can make it sinful. Now, a distinction that needs to be made is temptation isn't sin all by itself. Remember, Jesus was tempted in all ways, but without sin. I bring this up because some people may feel like they've already sinned by just being tempted. But if an evil desire comes to the surface and you just disregard it, this isn't sin. This could just be your sin nature, or Satan or a demon tempting you. With all this being said, something important to remember is the more you feed your body, the more hungry it will become, and the less you feed your body, the less hungry it will become. This applies in a natural sense and a spiritual sense. In a natural sense, the more you eat, the more you're going to want to eat, and the less you eat, the less you're going to want to eat. You can especially understand this if you fasted. In a spiritual sense, the more you sin, the more your body will want to sin, and the more of a stranglehold it will have on you. And the less you sin, the less your body will want to sin, and the less of a stranglehold it will have on you. Now, one thing I do want to make clear is, this battling of temptation can't be done without God's help. Remember, Jesus said, "Without me you can do nothing." That being said, we can't disregard our effort that's involved as well. We have to do our part and God will do His. Something that will help you with temptation is to live a disciplined lifestyle. And the most important aspect of this is to basically abstain from things that your body is accustomed to. The concept is starving the flesh incrementally. And what do I mean by this? Well, let's say I eat 5 meals a day. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and 2 snacks. One thing I could do is just take away 1 snack a day, and then I would eat 4 meals a day instead of 5. Or, let's talk about looking at media for a while, like your cell phone, for example. Let's say you look at your cell phone for a couple hours a day. What you could do is make sure that you limit that amount of time each day, whether it be 15 minutes, every few days or every week, and just try and shave that off more and more so that you look less and less at your cell phone. Slowly working towards these things in increments will help you to control your body more. And the whole goal is that you rule your body and your body doesn't rule you. And then these physical disciplines can transfer over to spiritual disciplines as well. The more you do this, the more your appetites will be easier to control and the easier it'll be for you to say no to temptation. Now, even the most disciplined Christians still sin at times, but this is basically a way to help deter it and to help lessen its frequency. And this isn't about being perfect, but this is contending for holiness. Now, this is something very encouraging when it comes to temptation, because I know it can just seem almost impossible to not give in to temptation sometimes. The desire can seem so strong and your spirit feels so weak, you feel like there's no way you can fight it. But listen to what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 10:13. I'm going to read it right now. "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation He will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it." So that is extremely encouraging. There's no sin that God has not provided a way of escape for, or that He can't help you out of. Now, the most important thing you need to do when you're tempted is to pray. Like I said, I know this can seem impossible to fight off, and where you seem like you just keep going back to a certain sin or you're always being tempted and giving in, you need to pray that God helps you. And you got to understand that when you pray like this, you're actually praying the will of God. Your sanctification is the will of God. He's going to help you because this is His will. Now, I want to end with this. If you're being tempted or you've already sinned, don't run from God. Don't be like Adam and Eve and try and hide and cover your sin. For one, you can't hide your sin from God, and two, covering it won't get rid of it. And if you don't deal with your sin, it will certainly rot you. Remember what the Bible says about sin. It brings forth death. And if you have sinned, ask God for forgiveness. God is a loving Father that wants to forgive you. I think we get the idea that God just wants to strike us down with lightning bolts when we're tempted or if we've sinned, but actually the opposite is true. He wants to purify and help you in these hard times. Be encouraged. When you ask God for forgiveness, not only will He forgive you, but He'll also take away the damage and the shame from your conscience. Well, I hope this helps you in battling temptation. Thank you for watching, and God bless.